This one is for my friend Leo on Twitter, who's a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan. So I thought I'd go ahead and talk about that wonderful series of movies. Wow, Guardians of the Galaxy is just amazing. I absolutely think that those are my favorite movies. Those movies, and of course, Avengers: Infinity War, and Endgame. Where you have the Guardians in those two, uh, are absolutely my favorite Marvel movies. There's so much joy to be found especially in the Guardians movies. Infinity War, of course, are much darker movies. Infinity War and Endgame. But there's still joy to be found in those. Just funny stuff that you find in there. Uh, Rocket, what can you say about Rocket? He's such a complex character, much more I think than people give him credit for. He's funny, but he's tortured and he's looking for a family. He's found a family and he's trying to protect that as much as he can and keep his family together. And he loses that family and he's you can tell he's having a hard time dealing with the loss of that family. And so it's going to be interesting to see how Rocket deals with having them back. When we get Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 eventually, which has taken a long time, and I won't go into that whole thing. That was kind of a mess. What happened with the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise for a while, but I'm very thankful that we will eventually get Volume 3, and it's going to be wonderful. Let's go back to Volume 1. Um, what a treat, what just from the very beginning of the movie, you have, the origin of Star-Lord, where Star-Lord came from, and then flash forward to when he's older, and you have this amazing sequence where he is listening to music and he starts dancing, and you're like, what? What's going on here? And the funny thing about that is we see a repeat of that uh, in game where they're War Machine and Nebula are watching him dance, and War Machine looks at Nebula and says, "You never told me he was an idiot," or something to that effect. And it's a funny little take on that scene, what somebody else would think if they saw him, because he's just alone in the first movie by himself, and unbeknownst to him, you know, some time travelers pop in and see him, and War Machine, I think it's War Machine. One of them knocks him out, you know, and but the whole first movie, back to that, is a wonderful movie, and there's just so much I love about that movie. The music, I've always been more of a fan of '60s music, um, more than anything, and so Guardians of the Galaxy is like music that's more based in the '80s nostalgia of '70s, '80s of music, and all of it's good. You've got so many good uh, the soundtrack adds to the movie so much, and then when you get to Volume 2, it's same deal. You've got music throughout the whole movie that adds to that movie so much, you know? so very much. Oh, if I could go back to the first movie just for a second, I love the sequence where they're playing uh, "Ooh Child," things are gonna get better. I won't sing for you because I'm horrible. But just you know, Star Lord singing and dancing a little bit there, and he's dance off, and the bad guy's like, "What are you doing?" And he's, "What are you doing?" And he's, "I'm distracting you." And there was an outtake of that where the bad guy starts dancing and they're really having a dance off, which I love that the whole dance off thing and Baby Groot dancing at the end, you know. But back to Volume 2 of Guardians, we see the growth of these characters and how some of them changed and some of them haven't. And Rocket is still this amazing character. Groot is, oh man, Groot has changed so much. That character, um, the baby Groot. Uh, whoa, what a character in that movie, and just what a delight. And he's too cute to kill. And he's cute, but then he's really deadly. You don't underestimate Baby Groot. He's don't mess with him. You know, he gets his vengeance against the people who do mess with him. Um, and then just that movie, I love that movie just as much as the first one, maybe even more so. I don't know. I go back and forth of which movie I like more. It's just it's wonderful. And then you get to Avengers: Infinity War, where the Guardians are in that, and where the Guardians are in that, and they just, the first time we see them, they have this thing where they, um, we hear the music and in outer space, and we go, "Oh, it's the Guardians." We know right away it's the Guardians. The music lets us know, oh, we're going to see the Guardians now, and then the whole thing with Thor coming in and on the windshield, and Rocket goes, "Wipe it off, wipe it off," you know. Um, and the Guardians are such a treat in Infinity War, and then what happens to them? Well, what happens, and then in game how Rocket deals with that, and just kind of how he becomes an Avenger in a sense, in very much a sense, he's an Avenger, and how he teams up with Thor, and get it together, man. He's the adult in the room. He's the Rocket's the adult compared to Thor, who's a total mess. Thor's more of a mess than Rocket because Rocket should be like gibbering, and he's not. I think maybe in the inside he probably is, but he keeps it together where Thor totally doesn't. And um, just what Rocket does, in that movie, he's a hero. Rocket is so much a hero. Uh, and I know my friend Leo is on Twitter. He's such a fan of that character, and I understand it. Rocket is awesome. He's such an awesome character, and he gets so many moments to shine throughout Guardians and Guardians Volume 2, Infinity War, and especially in Endgame. He gets the big moment to shine, because he's the last Guardian standing. So, uh, I am so looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Let's get going, Marvel. James Gunn is done with, I think he's pretty much done with his Suicide Squad. Well, probably mostly done. I'd say I hope Marvel's right away, as soon as they can, gets James Gunn to start working on that third movie. I know it's still going to be a few more years. I don't want it to be. I miss the Guardians. We need more Guardians in our lives. More joy, you know. So this movie's long enough. This movie, this video is long enough. So just leave your thoughts about Guardians of the Galaxy on YouTube and on Twitter. And wow, I love these movies. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.